All right, you saw him there. We're joined live in studio by the Statistician General, Pali Lehohla. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Does this really paint a picture? It's so sobering that all around us there are people for whom daily life is just a struggle. 1 in 4 will go to bed hungry, possibly.
Yes, I think it's a very sobering statistic. I actually say that I'm unmoved by the numbers. I'm moved by methods that the quality of statistics we provide
but the
is such a high quality that they stand the test of time. But it's for those who design policy to understand that what the impact is in terms of poverty. Well, from 2001 to 2011, you could see that headcount poverty was reducing. I mean, a blip in 2009 because of recession, but a bigger blip between 2011 and 2015. So that wipes all the gains that have been made, not to the level of where we were in 2006 though, but nonetheless, actually wiping inching towards wiping those gains. But critical in this is looking at unemployment as a driver of poverty, because that's a silent killer that is making its way. What does it do? Between 2001 and 2011, in the space of 10 years, unemployment as a driver of poverty grew from 33% to 40%, 7 percentage points in 10 years. As a driver of poverty, unemployment between 2011 and 2016, in a space of 5 years, grew by 12 percentage points. So it doubled in half the time.
Sure.
So that's where the problem is. And in fact, if you look at it, where it is now unemployment, it is accelerating as a driver of poverty. So portending a very difficult situation. So poverty is going to deepen.
You have said that the implications for the future of South Africa are dire.
Well, if you look at the poor as young children, if you look at the percentage of those who are poor are children. If you look at those who are unemployed, are the youth. So these children graduate from poverty into unemployment. The function, the transformation function from poverty into unemployment is so severe that it portends a very difficult situation in the future.
Are you surprised? For me, this links to safety and security. Are you surprised we're not seeing more rioting on the streets, even more crime, given the desperate situation that this lays out?
Well, I ran the numbers, and of course I'm just saying what the numbers are showing, that indeed these people who are already born, those who are 0 to 17, those who are 15 to 34 are already born, they are poor, they are unemployed, they move every decade into ages higher, and they produce and reproduce poverty.
Is this an indictment on government's performance?
No, I wouldn't say. I'm just saying that there's a deepening poverty, particularly if you look at the level of unemployment as a key driver of poverty. There is a deepening of poverty.
The report does mention some things, though. Stagnant growth, unemployment, poor consumer confidence. You've spoken about unemployment very strongly. An unstable policy environment, low commodity prices. So some of those things are out of our control. But we have to admit that some of those things are in our control. Consumer confidence, the policy environment.
Well, I mean, when you don't have a good plan, the NDP is a vision, but if you don't have a plan that deals with this...
Or if you don't implement the plan.
No. You see, there's something called planning. And the planning process, in the main, consists of what are the inputs that go into different sectors. And what are those inputs that come from those sectors into different sectors, and how are they distributed? Unless you have that Leontief input-output table to inform you of a plan, you do not know whether Peter is robbing Paul. Any project could float around without being subjected to this matrix that tells you that this input from agriculture, which is milk, is consumed by the farmer, is sold as milk to some households, it is processed to be butter, and it is consumed on the mines. This product from the mine is used for the mine itself, is used for industrial products. You need that closed system to say, what then, having gotten this, what then do you do to increase a cell in that coefficient to increase? And how do you see it through time? So you don't have that. So when you don't have that kind of plan, and then what is based on that plan? What is the demand for human resources to drive your strategy?
So you're saying more stats in each sector to see where the activity is, and then try and drive people to learn skills to go into those sectors.
Well, you see, as a statistician,
more stats,
no, not even that. As a statistician in general, and as a statistician that looks at things like national account, these kind of matrices we produce as a matter of measuring the quality of the data that we produce. But that platform is a platform that can be used for planning, and we don't use it. So that's the problem. Yes, I mean, a policy has to use that platform. Otherwise, these things become surprises, and I think that's the difficult part. We are looking at things like supply use table, social accounting matrix. Who are the people who benefit from the processes, through what transmission mechanisms? All that is data that Statistics South Africa produces. It provides a diagnostic for policy to do planning more efficiently.
I know you're trying to look at solutions rather than playing the blame game, but I have to look at this because government always says services are reaching more people, housing, sewage, things like that. And I think your report has looked at that maybe people have more services, but they're still becoming poorer. So one necessarily doesn't lift you out of the other, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, you need to get out of abject poverty by getting those services. But
does it help? But it's not.
It helps, but it moves you out of abject poverty. What you need is the human resource to work, earn income, decide and pay for those services. Without employment, the reversals at the slightest of a sniffing are very palpable, and we can see it as it happened between 2011 and 2015. And of course, with the downgrades, then with an economy that is in technical recession in 2017. So we are talking about a snapshot of 2015 from 2011. But the signs in terms of what we are seeing in the economy now are there that this poverty is going to deepen. Or at least when we measure, we don't expect any different results.
If we're looking in finality at the most important correlation or link, you're saying unemployment, but is the silent driver of that, and we do have dire stats on our education system?
Well, in fact, when you look at unemployment and education, and you add them together, that is the absence of technical education that drives, you are actually looking at drivers of poverty that account for 2/3 of all drivers of poverty. So unless you fix the education, you're not going to solve unemployment.
And
the
this
combined
has come up
effect
year
of that,
after year after year.
Yes, yeah. So it's building up a momentum, as you will see that in a space of 10 years, it grew 7 percentage points. In a space of 5 years, it grew 12 percentage points. In half the time, it doubled. That's a very serious acceleration.
We have to stop the spiral. Thank you for
thank you
explaining what you can with the numbers and some of the very dire implications. Statistician General Pali Lehohla.